if you could go to Antarctica, I know we read it yesterday, but it's okay because I'm going to ask you some more questions and new questions, okay? I think we did. All right, if you could go to Antarctica, so before we even open the story, what did we think the story was going to be about? You could look just at the picture. Noah?
The penguins and the animals that live in the snow.
What was this big word again?
Antarctica.
Antarctica. Good job. So we're going to go and open it. Noah's right. We're going to learn about some animals, but we're also going to learn about some more stuff. Okay. All right. If you go to Antarctica, you'd probably leave from the tip of the South America. You travel for days in a boat over rough, stormy seas. Antarctica is a huge continent at the South Pole. If you could go to Antarctica, you'd have to be ready for the cold, cold weather. It almost never gets warmer than 32 degrees Fahrenheit. In your thickest winter coat, you'd probably still shiver. Antarctica is the coldest place on Earth. If you could go to Antarctica, you would find snow and ice that almost never melts. On the shore near the sea, the wind can blow 50 miles per hour for weeks at a time. If you go to Antarctica, you might see chunks of snowy ice breaking, falling off into the sea. These floating shapes are called icebergs. They crash like thunder as they split from the ice shelf. If you go to Antarctica, you might see penguins. Penguins gather in huge groups to layer their eggs and raise their chicks. Remember what we talked about the penguins yesterday? Keep that in mind. If you go to Antarctica, you would see that penguins don't fly. They zoom through the water as fast as cars. The thick layers of oily feathers keep the cold water away. Penguins slide across the ice onto their bellies. If you could go to Antarctica, you might see seals. Seals live in the ice-cold waters. A thick layer of fat called blubber keeps them warm. Seals come to land or solid ice to have their pups. Mothers must teach their pups to swim. If you could go to Antarctica, you might see the whales lunging up from the water. Many whales visit the Antarctic in the summer. Humpback whales are huge but acrobatic animals. They can be 50 feet long as a tractor trailer, but they can throw their bodies completely out of the water. We'll do questions at the end, okay? If you could go to Antarctica, you might not see any plants. Most plants can't grow in the snow. In some places along the coast where the snow melts, green mats of moss and grass sprout from the rocks. If you could go to Antarctica, you might see scientists at work. They are the only people in Antarctica. They are studying the unusual plants, animals, and the weather. If you could go to Antarctica, you would see icebergs as big as forests, white fields of snow, and huge waves crashing into sheets of ice. Antarctica is the perfect home for a few amazing animals, plants and animals. Would you visit if you could? Okay, so now that we have read the story, I'm going to go ahead and ask you some questions, okay? But I'm going to call on some of my friends to pull a question out, and then you're going to read it. If you can't read it, I'll help you, okay? And then I'm going to have you get together with your partner and think about the answer before you tell me, okay? All right, so I'm going to have Devon choose first. Either you can try and read it, or I'll help you read it, okay? Read it loud, nice and loud, so all your friends can hear.
How can't.
This one's why.
Why can't it?
Want me to help you? Okay, stand up here. All right, so Devon's question, turn around to the class. Devon's question says, why can't plants grow in Antarctica? Why can't plants grow in Antarctica? So now get with your partner and talk about it. So that's your question. Talk to you about that. Okay?
Because snow can be actually, because the snow is too cool for a ground, that's why. So, and they can when the sun come out, it can melt down. That's why.
All right, freeze. All right, I would like Kaylee and Casey to explain your thinking. Why can't plants grow in Antarctica?
Because it's cold.
Because it's cold. What else did you say, Kaylee?
The snow is in the way on the ground.
Okay, so it's too cold. Maybe there's not what in the sky shining down to the plants? Noah?
Sun.
There's no sun. It's too cold. And what was in the ground that we didn't see that the snow takes place of?
The soil.
The soil. So without the soil and the sun, there's no plants, right? All right. My next friend, Michael, would you like to pick one? Yeah. Okay. Michael's question says, can penguins fly? And if not, how do they travel? And on land and in water. Talk about it with your partner, and then we'll come back and answer the question, okay? Talk with your partner.
They go, how do the boat slide in water, so they slide. And if they're guys, they swim in the water. The boat ice, and they have to come out, and they can swim fast, and they have to break the boat down, and then they have to go so that and swim in the water. They travel because I think
All right, time's up. I would like Caitlin and Kadiro to explain your thinking of can penguins fly? And if not, how do they travel?
They travel on their bellies to catch prey faster.
Okay, can they fly?
Nope.
No. Can they travel on their bellies?
Yeah. Yes.
Awesome. And if they're in water, do they go fast or slow?
Slow.
Fast.
I think fast.
Fast. They're little small animals just like the size of you guys, right? Remember, they're not any taller than you. So if they're little, they can go faster, right? Okay. Jalen, do you have a question?
Yeah. The reason why they do that, so they can dry it off.
So they can dry off? That's awesome thinking. All right. Rachel, would you like to pick one? Think you can read it?
Who lives in Antarctica? Why? Scientists.
Oh. We're going to still talk about it, okay? Do you think anybody else besides scientists can live there? Talk with your groups, okay?
I know scientists cannot go there. You go up there, scientists, then you can go to our scientists. They have a big something else. That's the thing. That's what I don't like. Travel under. That scientists have that house to help the animals before they die.
All right, time's up. Brianna and Nicholas, would you like to share what you think about can anybody else but scientists live there? And if so, who?
So they can study animals.
So only scientists live in Antarctica? So that they can study plants, animals, and what was the last thing that they're studying? Starts with a W. Devon?
Winter.
Winter, close. Weather. So plants, animals, and weather, but not many plants because we learned that some plants can't grow. All right, awesome. Remember, when you read your question, try not to answer it out loud because we have to talk about it first, okay? All right. Jalen, did you pick one yet?
No.
No.
Land.
In?
Where's that N?
Let me help you. Alright, this question says, in this story, there are 2 types of penguins. Remember that big picture that we saw today? There was a couple different colored penguins. Alright, why do you think there's 2? Go talk with your groups.
Because one is big and small and one is dead. When a little baby, they have to go down from the like when they get bigger, they have to self-lighting on that. Now they get bigger and bigger, we have those white and yellow and black color on them. Yeah. That's what happens where we are. Because they're little, when they
I think because they look like moms.
All right, time's up. Yuga and Devon, can you explain your thinking? There's 2 types.
Because when they grow, they don't have that brown thing on the back anymore.
So when they're young, they have the little fuzzy feathers like little babies would. And when they grow up,
they have on their white and yellow, orange and black.
so they have white, yellow, orange, and black skin that helps them swim fast in the water. And then their little younger babies, they have their chicks, they have fuzzy fur when they were first born. Who can remember that one type of penguin that we first talked about yesterday? That we said, what type of penguin was this? Starts with an E. Nicholas, did you remember? An emperor penguin. Awesome. All right, we have a couple more questions. Noah? Can I help you?
It's Liz.
All right. Noah says, is this story a fantasy or is it real? Talk with your partner.
It's real good. It's real. Yeah, it's a picture. They took a picture. That was the sign that they took a picture. Because and then go back to the house. It's not real. Because I said it's real. No, I said it. Yeah, and I said that. And that shark, whatever it is there, is real. All that stuff is real. You know what they said or Africa, whatever. There's a picture of the penguin in Antarctica too.
All right. Time's up. All right.
Oh yeah.
I would like Michael's group to explain their thinking. Is it a fantasy or is it real? Real. And why did you think it was real?
Because they take a picture.
Because
So they make a book.
they took real pictures and they made it into a book to share and teach you guys all about Antarctica. So it's a totally real story. It's really happening.
And there's different books about it.
There are. Awesome. Right, I think we have like 5 more questions. Brianna? Can I help you? Alright, so Brianna's question says, how could you travel to Antarctica? Alright, talk with your partner.
fast and they're too high. And when it gets there, it's a big attention and everyone who was there, you gotta get on the dog and you gotta speak the dog. You can only go in a whale or a dog and watch out those pistols and watch out those carts. Or you can go on a shutter and then you try to go on a shutter. You guys sneak up on the man.
All right, time's up. Kaylee and Casey, can you explain your thinking? How could you travel to Antarctica?
By a boat.
By a boat. Awesome. Could we swim there?
No.
No. Why couldn't we swim? Devon? Or I'm sorry, Jalen?
Because it's cold and it's really cold, and when it goes inside you, it freeze up.
It's way too cold, and I think that would be a very, very long swim. You get really tired, right, Michael?
And you can get sick.
And you'd probably get sick.
Maybe waste out air.
Yeah.
And you will get dead.
All right, Kadiro.
What did I get to?
Oh, you got
Oh,
one.
what is the setting of the story?
What is the setting of this story?
Oh, that's hard.
Question. Think with your partners.
I think the setting of the story is around inside of the bag. It's kind of like Hey, that man said dark and a night is a setting. Like now is a night. Oh, it's morning. And that is so cold inside. But it's cold in the night and it's colder. It's night. Sometimes it rains and sometimes it rains. Why is it sometimes it rains? It's after dark and at nighttime is colder. In the summer it's kind of warm, but it's still cold. It's cold when you go to Antarctica, you know why?
All right, time's up. Noah and Rachel, what is the setting? Where does this story take place?
Antarctica.
In Antarctica. Awesome thinking. All right, Nicholas.
What is different about Florida versus
What was this big word? What are we talking about? What are we learning? The place.
Antarctica?
Antarctica. So let's think about this. So we live in Florida. We don't live in Antarctica. We've never been to Antarctica. So what's different about Florida and in Antarctica? So we're going to compare and contrast some things that you would see in Florida that you might not see in Antarctica. So one example, we can see the sun shining almost every day in Florida, but could we see it in Antarctica? Probably not, because there's so much snow and ice. If the sun was there, all the ice would be melted. So we have sun in Florida, maybe not in Antarctica. Think about the animals, plants, places you could go, people you could see, okay? So it's different. Florida, Antarctica, talk with your partners.
Florida is inside the water, and Florida is kind of cool, and it's like it's hot and air. And the beach is warm, and it's sometimes I think the whale is a black dolphin. No, it's blue eyes. Instead of white, but it's went to walk and got turned. I did.
Okay, freeze. Time's up. Caitlin and Kadiro, one thing that you both agreed on, Florida and Antarctica. Either you see in Florida or you can see in Antarctica. What did you come up with?
We came up with in Florida there are no penguins, but in Antarctica there are.
Oh my gosh, that is so true. Do we see penguins walking on the street? All right. Noah, what did you and Rachel talk about?
We was talking about that in summer in Earth, there's not those weird thingies that have spikes on their ears with the ice. We know that that's not in Earth because it's too hot for it to be in Earth.
Yeah, we don't see huge whales. I mean, we do have dolphins and sharks at the beach. But we don't usually see big whales like that. We would see a lot in Antarctica.
Well, I see one in the beach when I look down in the water.
Yeah.
That's probably a shark.
Siobhan, what did you and Eula talk about?
We talked about a beach, about how warm a beach is and how hot it is and how cold it is.
Did everyone hear Devon? In Florida, he said it's very warm. We have beaches, soft, warm sand that we can go lay out and build sand castles. But in Antarctica, it's too cold. You don't have a beach. You couldn't go lay out in the warm sand, could you? No, there's ice in the way, right?
We can get a shovel and just cut it up and we can make a sandcastle out of ice cube sandcastle out of it.
All right, so he also said we can make sand castles in Florida, but maybe we could build snowmen, ice castles in Antarctica, okay? All right, couple more questions. Leah, would you like, or Leah's gone. Caitlin. Caitlin's question says, what kind of animals can we find in Antarctica? Think with your partners. What kind of animals did you see in the book that you could